There are 11 options of stuff. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'm just going to give you a feel for a few of those different options. There's, the download and the CD. But then at $50, he'll give you a thank you call where you can talk to him for a little bit. At $500, you can get a bunch of stuff, but you can hang out with him in Venice and go in a sensory deprivation tank, and then he'll take you out to Sizzler for dinner. Yeah, so all you can eat. So that's fun. $2,500, there's a bunch of things here, but he'll give you a private drum lesson, or if you don't want that, he'll give you a foot massage. You can get a signed snare drum. You can take 3 items from his closet, first come, first serve. He said if he has a particular piece of clothing he really wants, he'll probably wear it that day, so you don't get that one. $10,000, this one might be my favorite. There's a bunch of stuff here, but you get to go to Disneyland with him, and then at the end of the day, you drive away with his Volvo station wagon. It says, it's all yours, take it, just drop him off home on your way home, though. There are a bunch of other options. It goes all the way up to $75,000, where he'll write and record and release a 5-song EP about you and your life story. And there's a rumor going around that there's actually a couple of bands that are actually thinking about using this option just to get themselves some more publicity, because he'll also join your band for a month and play shows and party with groupies, as he says. If you don't have a band, he'll be your personal assistant for a month. You can take flying trapeze lessons as well. And so basically a number of different ways to connect with fans, give them a reason to buy. Now, again, people are going to complain here. They're going to say, well, Josh Freese, he's, again, sort of a product of the recording industry, even though certainly not as recognizable a name. But I'll give you another example. This is Jill Sobule. Way back in 1995, she had a sort of hit. But since then, she's been dropped from 2 record labels, and she's had 2 other record labels that she was on go out of business. So when it came to early 2008, she was on her own and wanted to do a new album. So what she decided to do was set up a website called Jill's Next Record, where instead of getting people to fund her after the record was made, she actually wanted to get people to fund the creation of the record itself. And she also, like these other ones, offered different levels of support. And again, I'm not going to go through them all, but just to give you a hint, there was, sort of $200. You could get free admission to all her shows. You could get entrance to a secret online society. There would be a track on the CD where she would record the names and mention the names of people who supported. At $1,000, she'd record a special song that you could put on your answering machine. At $5,000, this was the one she recommended. She would come and do a house concert at your house. She actually ended up doing 5 or 6 of these. She said some of the people actually made money because she let them charge kind of a door admission. She didn't take any part of that. So she says that's the most economical. And then she put up kind of as a joke what she said that the $10,000 option, the weapons grade plutonium level, she thought that nobody would actually take this. And it was you get to come and sing on the CD. And someone actually did take up this option. It was a woman in the UK, and so she actually flew her out to LA and had her sing on the album, and she actually does appear on the album singing backing vocals. Her goal was to raise $75,000, and she admitted she had no idea if she would raise even $100 when she started this, but she actually raised the entire $75,000 in just 53 days. And based on that, the album is fully financed, and any money that she makes going forward is pure profit. And it was important to her to show that she could do a professional production, everything that a record label would do for her using the $75,000. So she went and got a bunch of professional musicians to play along and booked a studio and even had Don Was do the production. The album is called California Years, comes out next month. But again, some people might complain because after all, she had a hit in 1995, and they'll ignore the fact that she was dropped from 2 record labels and 2 others went out of business, and she was totally on her own since then. So they'll say that's still not good enough. So I'll give you another example. This is Corey Smith. In 2001, he was a high school teacher in Georgia, and he was playing some music on the weekends kind of as a hobby and for fun. By 2007, he had brought in $1.7 million gross, most of it from touring. 2008, he more than doubled that to about $4 million. And he did it all while giving away his music. If you go to his website, you can download most of his music totally for free. If there's a track on there that you don't see that you want of his, you can email his manager, and they'll just email it right back to you. But he makes sure to connect with fans, which is part of the reason why it works. You can also email his manager and try and set up a meeting with Corey as long as it's convenient. He'll get you set up in a way to meet with him. He does a lot of shows and is constantly touring, but one of the interesting things that he does is he offers $5 pre-sale tickets to a lot of his shows. So keeping the tickets really cheap because they recognize that at $5, if you're a huge Corey Smith fan, you can bring a friend, create another lifelong fan who will go to a whole bunch more shows and help contribute to hopefully more than $4 million next year. They ran an experiment last summer just to see what would happen where they stopped offering free music off the website. Even though they're offering free music off the website, they're also offering iTunes. You can buy the music on iTunes. And when they stopped offering free music, the sales on iTunes actually went down. So they quickly put the free music back up, and the iTunes sales went up. So hopefully this, again, sort of reinforces the point that the free music isn't necessarily the death of music sales. As long as you can connect with fans, give them a reason to buy. So another example, we're getting near the end, don't worry. This is a guy named Jonathan Coulton. In 2005, he was a computer programmer. In September of that year, he decided that he was going to write, record, and release one song every single week and put it online under a Creative Commons license. At the same time, he would sell CDs and also some additional downloads as well, even though the music was all available under a Creative Commons license. It took him all of about 6 months before he was earning at least $5,000 a month, which doesn't make him a millionaire, but certainly is a decent enough living. And he continued to connect with fans in a variety of ways. The project of releasing music every week created some interesting side effects. A group of fans created the Jonathan Coulton Project, where they would take each of the songs each week and create a fan-made video for every one of his songs. And then he had this thing where if you got music from other places, you could donate, and he made it fun to donate by letting you buy a virtual banana, monkey, or robot. I guess that's just fun. Concerts became an important part of how he made money as well. Now, the touring business can be tricky. A lot of people can lose money, but he did some interesting things to make sure that the concerts would make money. And he used, mainly relying on a site called Eventful. I know someone from Eventful is going to be presenting a little bit later today, to make sure that there were enough fans who would buy the tickets, and then he would sort of strategically parachute in for a concert. So this is my hometown of San Francisco. There are 381 people demanding a show there. I checked out here in Nashville. There's 106 people. I don't know if that's enough to get him here, so everyone should sign up and demand that he comes. These numbers are a little bit out of date, but from a couple years ago, he was still making a ton of his revenue actually came from music sales, even though all the music was free and available under a Creative Commons license. All right, one final example, and then I'll finally be out of here. All right, this is a guy named, musician named Moto Boy. He's based in Sweden, and he's on a little indie label called Songs I Wish I Had Written, which I think is just the greatest name for a record label. So, but since they're in Sweden, Sweden is the home of the Pirate Bay, and so there's a big trial going on there, and people are freaked out about it. But actually, Moto Boy and Songs I Wish I Had Written actually like to put their own music directly on the Pirate Bay themselves because they think there's tremendous value in that. Because they do other things to connect with fans and give them a reason to buy. One example is they went through YouTube and found all these fan videos that fans had shot with their camera phones, and they put them all together and created an entire YouTube concert based on fan-created videos found on YouTube. And then they give people a reason to buy. Even though they give the MP3s away for free and they have CDs that cost, they've added some creative buying options as well, including this. This is a little wind-up music box. It's just the sort of guts of it, so you can put it on different surfaces and it'll actually sound slightly differently. And they have this neat little YouTube video of Moto Boy himself winding the music box, and it plays one of the singles off of his album. And that music box costs $25, and yet people are buying it because it's really a way to support the musician, and it's something neat and something different, and it's basically something that they see as a cool souvenir, as a way to support the band. So hopefully all of these examples have kind of begun to get across the idea that it's not just big bands that can do this. Using this business model can work for all different sizes, big, small, medium, and using it in many different ways, not all doing the exact same thing, but experimenting and doing some very interesting things, that none of which require licensing, DRM, lawsuits, or even copyright. But really just get people focused on the future, focused directly on the music and the music business models that work. That's my presentation on how Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails represent the future of the music business model. I know that this presentation tends to generate a lot of questions and conversations. We don't have that much time, so if anyone wants to email me either one of those